Welcome to the PI Podcast, your destination for everything NFL, discussing the latest news and providing in-depth analysis of every NFL game. And now, here are your hosts, Ian and Tesh.
Yo, what is up? We are finally back for some NFL football. I'm going to be pulling up the games. We're going to be talking about the games a little bit. Pratesh is still sleeping, I think. However, we're going to be doing this. All right, first game of the day. Y'all know why I'm up early. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars in London playing the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills, this is a home game for them. However, I think we all know the Jags in London, really nice combo. So we're going to see how that plays out. Huge game. So key notables for this game, there's quite a few Buffalo Bills out. There's a few inactives. For the Bills, it's looking like Greg Rousseau has been downgraded to out or doubtful. He will not be playing, it looks like. Let me actually click on the full injury report so I can. The key inactives for the Bills, they have a lot of guys out. Damar Hamlin will not be playing. He's only played in one game this season. Christian Benford, their cornerback, he is out. Greg Rousseau, defensive end, is out. Then they have two offensive linemen in Jermaine Effetti and Alec Anderson, guard and tackle. They are both out for this game. Shaq Lawson out. You know, they're going to be feeling that with Rousseau and Lawson out on their edges. And then Poona Ford is out as well. Not really familiar with him. I think he might be a depth piece for them. The Jaguars' key inactives, which really none of these guys are starters except for one. You got Elijah Cooks, the wide receiver. He is an inactive. He's like wide receiver 6 for them. Christian Braswell, he's the rookie. He's out, but he has not seen very many snaps this year. Cole Van Lanen, he is out. He's kind of their backup tackle guard. He plays in he does play quite a few snaps a game. Jaguars' offensive line has been very banged up. And then Devin Lloyd, he's got a thumb. He had surgery on his thumb. I don't even know if he traveled with the team to London. But he is out. He is their starting linebacker. So Chad Muma will take its place, which I'm fine with. Chad Muma is a little slower, but he played a very good game last week against Bijan Robinson. He's the one that got shook out of his shoes by Bijan. However, other than that play, he played pretty phenomenal considering, you know, the amount of reps he gets and stuff. All right. So keys to success for this game for the Jaguars, man. They got to start fast. If Bills start with the ball, you need to make them go 3 and out or force a turnover quick. Josh Allen's going to turn that ball over if you play the defense like you're supposed to. Jaguars got to take advantage of that. And then with starting fast on defense, they need to start fast on offense. These past few games, they have struggled to get the ball, to get points in the first drive. You can't do this against this team. I think the Jaguars got a lot of advantages, which is good for them. In order to beat this team, they're going to need all the help they can get, in my opinion. The slow starts. Now, granted, Cam Robinson, the starting left tackle of the Jaguars, he makes a season debut today. He was suspended for PED use. So he had 4-game suspension. He comes back today. I think that's going to help the Jaguars offense a ton. They're going to move Walker Little to left guard, which is a great move. And I really think that this offensive line is going to look completely different than it has the past 4 weeks, which should create opportunity downfield. If you look at Trevor Lawrence's stats for the first 4 weeks, he has not thrown the ball very deep. I think that's a timing thing. He's had a few opportunities that's, hooked up and missed, but he hasn't been able to throw the ball very deep. And I think that's where Trevor Lawrence exceeds. So I don't know if they're doing the short game because of the offensive line, if they're trying to improve Trevor in that regard, if they think that's what their skill set is on offense, is these short stuff, which I do think, like Evan Ingram, you need to dump him off the ball and let him work with the ball in his hands. He's far better of a tight end when you let him get some yak. He's second in the league right now. He's first in tied for first with receptions. He's in second in total yards. Evan Ingram's having a great start to his year, and I think he's going to really be able to do some damage today, as long as the play calling is good. That's kind of my big fear today is play calling, but we'll see how that goes. All right, and then the 1 o'clock games, 1 o'clock Eastern games, we're going to start off with the Saints and Patriots. I got the Saints winning this one. I've got the Jags winning against the Bills, of course, but I think it's going to be a very close game. Remember the last time the Bills and Jags played, it was 9-6, and that was when Urban Meyer was the head coach of the Bills. And this Bills team looks very similar. They might have a better running back room now, but this is the same core for the past 2 years now. So I got the Jaguars winning this game if they can take care of business. But I'm staying away from this bet. Jaguars are they're underdogs. And I think that's when they excel. Saints at Patriots. Give me the Saints here. I really haven't seen anything at all from the Patriots that makes me think that they're going to be good, especially with Christian Gonzalez out. I do understand that they just traded for J.C. Jackson. I think Christian was having a hell of a year. He was my favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year if he would have played for the entire year. He was that good. But I've got the Saints winning this game. Man, it's going to be tough for the Patriots to overcome some of the stuff that they're doing with Mac Jones back there. Who knows if he's going to get better? Who knows if this is as good as he's ever going to get? But he's got to play better. The offense has to play better. Bill Belichick has to coach better. Greatest coach of all time by far, but dude, you can't be laying an egg like this. Give me the Saints there. Then we got Titans at Colts, and this is a division game. This is actually for first place in the division. If one of these teams wins, they will be first place in the division. I think even if the Texans win, because they'll have a division win on their hands. Colts have already lost once in the division, so they got to win this game. Anthony Richardson has looked decent. Dubs, I completely agree with you. Mac Jones, he peaked in his rookie season. Absolutely. And honestly, like, the weapons for him aren't anything ridiculous, but they're good enough to where you should be able to tell if you have a franchise guy. And to me, he has not looked like a franchise guy. And I actually predicted 2 years ago after the 2021 season that was peak Mac Jones. I didn't think he was going to get any better. Granted, the next year you bring in Matt Patricia to be your offensive coordinator. I don't know what Bill Belichick was thinking. That probably derailed him a little bit, but there was nothing in my head that thought Mac Jones was going to get any better. And exactly, Bill's team is set up defensively. When you have a rookie, second, third-year quarterback, you have to surround him with weapons. Look at what has happened to that draft class, okay? Zach Wilson, to me, he was kind of failed a little bit. He was pulled in and out. There was zero confidence in him going in. They bring in Aaron Rodgers, but what do? Not only do they have Garrett Wilson, which they've had, last year, they brought in guys that were just true vet receivers. And look at how Zach Wilson played the other day. Justin Fields. Everybody was calling him a bust. Look at the game he just had the other night when you finally give him some offensive weapons. Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I'm a big Jags fan. What did they do? His first year in the league, they gave him Laquan Treadwell and Tavon Austin as his receivers. Doug Peterson comes in. Trevor Lawrence looks like a top 5 quarterback by the end of the year when he's got Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, Zay Jones. Like, he just brought in a bunch of offensive weapons and utilized their skill set. There is zero of that going on in New England. And exactly, bad development. And honestly, I think what will end up happening with this Aaron Rodgers trade, whether he gets healthy enough to play, whatever, if he retires, who knows, him being in that room alone is going to help develop Zach Wilson. And then that was Mac Jones, Zach Wilson. Trey Lance, who knows what happened with him. Again, like I said, he had an injury bug. I think there was a little bit of lack of confidence there as well. But look at Brock Purdy right now. You know, you surround him with weapons. You teach him how to run the system. Brock Purdy's a top 10 QB right now in the league. And granted, it's going to kind of be like a Tom Brady situation where Tom Brady was overshadowed by Bill Belichick until he left. Brock Purdy you're never going to know if Brock Purdy is really that guy because of Kyle Shanahan being like the guru he is on offense. Back to the Titans and Colts. So Anthony Richardson, to me, he looks like he's actually came into the league with a pretty good mindset. He seems like he's the franchise guy. He takes care of the football. I think he needs to learn to slide, obviously. Like, he's already been out for a game with a concussion. 2 games, I think, with a concussion. So he's got to learn to slide a little bit. And the offensive line needs to do a better job of protecting him. But they get Jonathan Taylor back. I have the Colts winning against the Titans unless Derrick Henry goes off, which could happen. Colts play a zone scheme on defense with Gus Bradley. They're going to have to limit Tannehill. They're going to have to show if Tannehill can read that defense, because that's the problem with the zone defense. They don't play very much man. Vrabel can dice up. He can have something dialed up to dice up a defense or a defense playing zone. But I have the Colts winning this one because I really think with Jonathan Taylor coming back, he's fresh. You know, he is fresh. They should be able to win this football game. Then we got Ravens at Steelers, and I'm sorry, Lamar does not play very good against the Steelers, but this Steelers team does not play very good. They have been very bad. Their defense collapsed last week against the Texans. I truly expect the Ravens to be able to pull this one out. OBJ is expected to play, which I don't think he's the player he used to be. But I really just, the offense for the Steelers has looked so pitiful that I don't see that flipping in one game, and the Baltimore defense is fairly good. So I've got the Ravens winning this football game. Panthers at Lions. This is the Lions. This is a completely different Lions team that we've seen from previous years. Dan Campbell has completely flipped this team. I have the Lions winning this football game, and I think it's going to be a blowout. Jahmyr Gibbs is out, but they haven't been using him anyway. So Montgomery, he's going to get his carries. The Lions, damn, they look good. But I'll give you this. The Panthers need to find their identity. To me, they look poorly coached. They look unorganized. But they just don't look like they're trying to win football games this year. Don't know why. I mean, Bryce Young can be a good quarterback if developed correctly, but Frank Wright, I don't think he's that good of a head coach. I think he's a great offensive mind. He's good with quarterbacks. He can't manage a team. So give me the Lions there. Dan Campbell's got his team playing some damn good football right now. Texans at Falcons. Texans are underdogs, and I don't know why. Texans, to me, are winning this football game. CJ Stroud looks... Exactly. CJ Stroud was the best quarterback coming out of that draft. We're seeing that. They've flipped the Texans, okay? And, like, granted, I knew they were going to be decent. I didn't think their offense was going to click this fast. Nico Collins, Tank Dell, they're looking awesome. That offensive line is holding up better than we thought it was because they looked terrible in the preseason. And CJ Stroud still has not thrown an interception. He should have thrown a couple against the Steelers. They missed a couple opportunities there. But CJ Stroud has taken care of the football, and he's shown he can read a defense, and I really don't see the Falcons being able to do anything offensively. They've been not very good offensively, moving the football. Um, yeah, Houston's defense is very good, actually. I play them twice a year. I'm a Jags fan. I've watched them. I watched them last year. I thought that defense was going to be a top 10 unit coming into the year, but it helps that their offense is clicking like it is. So their defense is getting the rest they need. They're being able to score points, so they're getting very good field position for the defensive side of the ball to be able to stop them. I mean, you have to go 75 yards on the Texans because the Houston Texans are scoring on offense. So that's huge for them. And like I said, the Falcons just haven't been moving the ball very well. Their play calling is very sus to me. It's run, short pass, run, short pass. And then when you force Desmond Ridder to throw, as you've seen last week, he's overthrown a couple targets. Now, granted, I think that's on Arthur Smith to me because you've got to let your quarterback get into a rhythm. You should have played him throughout the preseason. You're now going into the game 9 of his career. He's basically a rookie, and you didn't give him any preseason reps. Or he only got a few preseason reps. I think he only had 2 drives in the preseason, which is pretty ridiculous to me. If you expect your quarterback to lead you to a division title, which coming into the year, the NFC South looked like a very winnable division for all the teams. Like every team had something to be fighting for. Granted, Bucks came out and they played some pretty good football. Carolina's probably going to be. They have potential to be the worst team in the football league if the Bears played like they've been playing and Arizona plays like they've been playing. I mean, you're going to be seeing like this Carolina team fighting for the number 1 draft pick. The Giants could possibly be playing for number 1. And Carolina doesn't even have their draft pick this year. It's crazy. But I've got the Texans beating the Falcons, and then we've got the Giants at Dolphins. This could be a bloodbath. Dude, Dolphins defensively are not very good, but their offense, when it's clicking, it's clicking. I don't think the Giants' defense is going to be near as good as what the Bills were. So I think the Bills played a very good defensive game against the Miami Dolphins. So I've got the Dolphins winning this because the Giants just haven't looked very good. Their offensive line's terrible. I think the bad Dolphins defense is going to match up pretty good against the bad Giants offense. And then obviously the Dolphins offense is insane. Bears might get the top 2 picks. Dude, that might be the first time that's ever happened. Like, with the picks being theirs already. You know, like I'm sure there's been times someone just picked first in the draft and then the second pick comes up and then they trade for him then. I don't think there's ever really been a time you've had the first 2 picks just from day one, you know? Insane. Then we got Bengals at Cardinals. Less games this week. Some teams are on a bye. I think Browns are one of them. I can't remember all the teams on a bye. Chargers are one. That might be all, actually. Bengals at Cardinals. Bengals got to figure it out. And to be honest, Cardinals with Josh Dobbs haven't looked bad. They haven't looked very good, but they haven't looked very bad either. They've been kind of like a middle team to me. Josh Dobbs is playing to prove himself in the league. Who knows what they end up doing with Kyler Murray if he comes back. There's already trade rumors going around. There's cutting rumors going around, so we'll see how that goes. This is a tough game for both sides because I mean, Cardinals aren't a very good football team. Bengals have not been playing very good. So maybe this is the game they get back on track. I have a hard time betting against the Bengals, even though they've been terrible so far on offense. But give me the Bengals. Hopefully Joe Burrow is very healthy because I want to see him succeed again. Like his mindset. I like watching him play. They play Jacksonville on Monday night this year. I plan on going to that game. Just all these young guys. I love watching Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert. Lamar. Like, I love watching all these guys play football at a high level. I think it makes the NFL the most interesting it's ever been. From a younger, I'm only 26, so younger fans' point of view. But I got the Bengals winning this football game. Eagles at the Rams. I've got the Eagles winning this football game. However, the Eagles, not near as good as I thought they were going to be. Their offense has sputtered. Granted, they lost their head coach to the Colts, or they lost their offensive coordinator to the Colts. So maybe that's part of it. But Rams also get Cooper Kupp back, so that could be interesting. I don't know if there's going to be any gel issues. So we'll see. Rams with Puka and Cooper Kupp could be interesting. If I was going to bet on a high-scoring football game for an offense that could shock you, the Rams could shock you tonight. Yeah, and also Justin Herbert's been struggling a little bit. Not the team has. Them two just signed big contracts this offseason. So did Lamar. And these teams are not performing the way you thought they were going to perform. I mean, Ravens just lost to the Colts in overtime. Like, you didn't expect that from this Ravens team coming into the season. Just like the Bengals, you thought they were going to be the top team in the AFC with the Chiefs and the Bills. And then the Chargers, too, you thought with Kellen Moore going as an offensive coordinator who throws the ball very much. These guys signed these massive contracts, and you're seeing that they're not performing exactly like you thought they would coming into the year. Yeah, the fact that he fell to the 5th round, and then you've got guys that, were first-round draft picks in Najigba, Quentin Johnston. There's another guy I'm missing. Zay Flowers. These guys, good talent, but how did you miss out on Puka? If that your job is to scout wide receivers, this guy came into the league set on fire. And granted, that happens sometimes, but that's crazy that he's come into the league, and now you've got Cooper Kupp paired up with somebody like him. And I don't know, man. The fact they're throwing the football. They don't have a run game. The Rams don't really have a run game, so they're throwing the football, and the fact that he's still able to do that is just insane. Give me the Eagles over, or actually give me the Rams over the Eagles. This is going to be my upset game. I got the Rams beating the Eagles in this one. Jets at Broncos. I've got the Jets winning this football game. Zach Wilson looked good last week. And granted, he made that mistake at the end of the game, fumbled it. I really think he's going to use this to fuel himself now that he's matured enough to realize, hey, I can't do that, or hey, that's my fault, I let the team down. And I think Aaron Rodgers is in his ear at practice to help him and perform better. And I really think that this Jets team could possibly make the playoffs if, like I said, Zach Wilson plays at a mediocre level. He doesn't really have to be Aaron Rodgers. The team's stacked. He could play at a level of, granted, I think these players are top 10 right now. A Jared Goff that can just run the system. You just got to be able to run the system that they have. Nathaniel Hackett can get guys open. Zach Wilson just needs to be able to run the system, use his legs when he needs to, and don't try to be a hero. Do not try. Take the underneath stuff. Let Garrett Wilson go up and make a couple plays, and your running backs, rely on your running backs, and they should be able to win a lot of football games this year. And they're playing the Broncos, dude. The Broncos, Sean Payton got himself into a situation he didn't realize he was getting himself into. And Nathaniel Hackett's revenge game over Sean Payton's comments. I've got the Jets winning this football game. Chiefs at Vikings. The Chiefs finally started clicking against the Bears last week. I've got the Chiefs winning this football game. The Vikings got to figure it out. I don't know what their deal is right now. I don't know if this is sophomore blues for Kevin O'Connell up there, the head coach. But they got to figure it out. I don't think them trading away Dalvin Cook is the reason they're not being very good. I just think defenses now have a lot of tape on them. You got to think last year, a lot of their football games were won by one score. They were like the most winningest team by one-score games in NFL history last year, with like 13 of them, all one-score game wins. So I really think Like I said, they got to figure it out on offense. Do they trade Kirk Cousins before the trade deadline? I don't think so. But I do like teams like the Jets, the Falcons, um, to possibly be interested in that. But I don't think they move on from him. They'd be in full on tank mode if that was the case, and then they'd have to be talking about possibly firing head coaches. Like, I don't think that's the case. Because Kirk Cousins is good enough to win you 9 or 10 games in this league. Like I said, nothing special. He's a game manager, which is what Zach Wilson needs to do. But he's got to figure it out. Cowboys at the 49ers. And from the reports, Trey Lance has been giving the Cowboys all the information on the 49ers schemes, which is crazy considering they traded Trey Lance because he could not figure out the schemes. That doesn't make any sense. Cowboys are going to think they're going into this game knowing everything about the 49ers, and they are going to get toasted because Trey Lance didn't understand it. But for real, I've got the 49ers winning this football game. The Cowboys have actually looked like a solid team. They're not running up scores or anything, which is why they got a new offensive coordinator. They didn't want to run up the scores. They want to give the defense a break and let the defense win these football games. And just Dak to be a game manager, basically. That's all they need out of him, which could be good, could be bad. But the 49ers look like a dominant football team. I have them winning this football game against the Cowboys tonight. And then tomorrow night, we've got Packers at Raiders. I've got the Packers winning this football game. Look, I don't know if Jimmy G's coming back. It doesn't matter. O'Connell, he ain't going to be able to get the job done, and I don't think Jimmy G's going to be able to get the job done. I've got the Packers winning this game. Jordan Love's looked like a QB that's had time to develop. Like I said, he's not anything crazy right now, but I do think he's going to be good enough to be the guy for the Packers for a few more years. I think Aaron Jones is coming back, so he should be healthy. And then, Green Bay's defense is solid. I think their offense is solid, and I think their defense is solid. Sometimes that's all you need early in the year. But the Raiders with Josh McDaniels, they just look unprepared most games. And I seen actually something on Twitter today that said, it was a podcast with some former players that played under Josh McDaniels, and they basically said we were the most prepared we ever were going into a football game. Like, he would tell us if they lined up this way, if you run straight to that mark there, you'll either get an interception or the ball's going to hit you in the head. And that was when he got suspended for filming other teams. Now that he hasn't been able to do that, he doesn't look like the guy that everybody thought he was going to be. But those are my predictions for this week. If you guys that are watching want to talk about a specific game, you guys want to give me your opinions on a certain game, let me know. We can talk about it. The Jaguars play football at 9:30. So one more hour, and then football is on. And then we will have football from 9:30 in the morning until probably 11 o'clock tonight, 11:30 tonight, which is going to be awesome. Want to thank you guys for 200 subscribers on the channel. We're going to start trying to go live more often. Today we're going to watch the game. We did our first ever live break on Whatnot, our second ever live break on Whatnot. So we were able to open up a 2023 Don Russ Hobby, 2 2022 Chronicles Blasters, and 2 2022 Chronicles Mega Boxes. We pulled an out of 10 Christian Gonzalez, an out of 10 Geno Smith. Really cool cards. The guys on Whatnot, we're actually going to be packing them up today, shipping them out tomorrow because the post office is closed today. We didn't open until 10 o'clock last night. So that's going to be very awesome. I know it's been a while since we've been on the show. My birthday was a couple of weeks ago. My fiance got me a signed Trevor Lawrence pop figure. Staple of the collection right now. And then we've been going live on Whatnot quite often, so we're gonna keep doing that. If nobody's got anything they would like to add, we're gonna go ahead and sign off here in a few minutes. If anybody's got anything they want to ask, fantasy related, anything, I'll give you my opinions on a couple of them. But other than that, we will figure out. We'll figure out when we're gonna go live next. We might go live this week, maybe on Tuesday or something, to talk about the games. Remember, go Jags! We're hoping we win this. It's Josh Allen versus Josh Allen, and the last time they placed each other, Josh Allen, the defensive player, had a sack, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, and an interception on Josh Allen. And Josh Allen's coming off of a 3-sack game, so let's hope and cross our fingers that Josh Allen can show up like that today, because that's what I need to see. Yep. Jamal Agnew healthy. I hope that he doesn't get many reps on offense. I really just want him to return the football. I need him to get slowly back into things because he's fumbled 4 times in his last 3 games, or 3 times in his last 4 games. Part of the reason we lost to the Chiefs both times. Love Agnew, but gotta hold on to the football. Early predictions for Offensive Rookie of the Year is going to go CJ Stroud or Puka. I'm going to give the nod to CJ Stroud. MVP so far, I think, is actually going to maybe shock some people. Going with Josh Allen. And if it's not Josh Allen, I'm going with Tua Tagovailoa. I just think that Tua, because of his receivers, he's going to rack up insane stats. And I really think that the NFL likes that. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I was going with Christian Gonzalez. Now I don't know who I'd be going with. Defensive Player of the Year, I think, is going to be TJ Watt. He's tied for first in sacks with Josh Allen and Khalil Mack. But Khalil Mack got all 6 of his in 1 game, so I don't see him continuing that production. But TJ Watt's been pretty solid, but he was up to nothing against the Texans. That's why I'm thinking the Texans' offensive line is not as bad as people thought they were. But we shall see in the coming weeks. They play the Colts, who have a very good interior D-line. So that's going to be something to watch for. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I feel like I'm just rambling on. So we're going to go ahead and end the live, but thank you for watching. Follow us on Twitter so you can stay up to date on when we go live and when we're planning on going live, and also when we're live on Whatnot selling cards. Don't want to miss that. A lot of cool stuff going on. Yeah, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Thank you for watching the PI Podcast. Make sure you subscribe and tune in next time so you don't miss the latest news in the NFL world. You can also follow us on TikTok at PI Podcast and on Twitter at PI Podcasters. Until next time.